Hello. Lakshmi.
Hello, madam.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. We will start the program in another 10 minutes time, madam.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. No sound, sir.
Hello.
Deepak sir, unmute ಮಾಡಿ sir.
Hello. Hello.
Deepak, you are audible.
I request all the participants to please mute their mic other than video. I request all the participants to please mute your mic and video, please. Dr. Vijaylakshmi, madam, you are ready? Dr. Vijaylakshmi, madam.
Yes, ready, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. 1 second. A very good morning to all the participants. Greetings from Bangalore Institute of Technology. Welcome to day 4 morning session. The topic for the presentation is preparation of the research proposal for the grant application. This is Dr. Deepak Vasudeva, convener FDP, introducing the guest speaker for the day.
Deepak sir, please on your video, sir.
You want me to on the video? Okay. I repeat, greetings from Bangalore Institute of Technology. Welcome to day 4 morning session. Present is the research proposal for grant application. This is Dr. Deepak Vasudeva, convener, FDP, introducing the guest.
Deepak sir, please unmute your audio.
I believe in innovation, and that the way you get innovation is you fund research and you learn the basic facts. Bill Gates. Dr. Vijaylakshmi Dayal is working as HOD, MIT Mysuru. She is the professor and head of the Department of Physics. She is an experimental condensed matter physicist, and her research interests are transport magnetism and magnetoelectric effects, with a particular emphasis on the field of ferroelectric heterostructures and their interfacets, high temperatures, superconductors, multiferrous, and magnetomaterials. She is an MSc in physics, specialized in electronics from Vinoba Bhave University, Jharkhand, with university first class, first rank. She has been awarded PhD from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, Jharkhand, deemed university. She's worked on high temperature superconductor magneto assistance materials and the characterization under low temperature, direct and pulse magnetic fields. She served as a full-time fellow in UGC major research grants and SRF BIT Mysuru from the for her PhD work. She joined Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysuru in 2008 and has further diversified many research activities on magnetoelectric material in its single, composite, and thin film form and their electronic applications. She has more than 60 research papers published in peer-reviewed national and international journals of high impact and conference proceedings. In the year 2011, she received her first major research grant from DAE BRNS as Young Scientist Research Award with a total grant of rupees 20 lakh. In the year 2014, from UGC DAE CSR Indoor Center for 11 lakhs as collaborative research project, and latest one is in the year 2017 from SERB DST under EMR with a total grant of 35 lakhs. She has also received an international travel grant from Indian agencies for paper presentations at various conferences. She is recognized PhD guide of the Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belagavi since 2011. Working under her, one candidate has been awarded PhD and 5 candidates have registered for PhD. She is also working in a collaborative with several renowned research groups in India, BARC Mumbai and Pondicherry University and abroad, basically in the USA, Iowa State University, Amens Lab, DAE unit of US and Virginia Commonwealth University. Madam, it is indeed a pleasure to get associated with you. I would like to request you to take over and share your expertise in the field. Thank you, madam. Over to you. Over to you, madam. Vijaylakshmi, madam, over to you. You are not audible, madam.
Okay. It was unmute. Yeah, sir.
Now you are audible. Madam.
Okay. So my screen is visible, hopefully, to all.
Yes, madam. You can make it a full screen.
Yes, madam.
So good morning, all participants.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's a 1-week faculty development program on research proposal writing and opportunities in science, engineering and management. Today is the 4th day and I, Dr. Vijaylakshmi Dayal, Professor and Head Department of Physics, will present my talk on preparation of research proposal for the grant application. So my focus will be basically on how to write a proposal. And it's all comes out with my experience of writing the proposal. Before you start, sir, can I audio, video, can I switch it off?
Madam, it is your comfort. If you're comfortable with the video,
okay, because some if in between if data video will take lot of data, okay. I'll close my video.
Okay, madam. Okay. You are comfortable.
Let me where I can do it.
Beside the mic, there is a video option. You can just.
Not okay.
Yes, madam. You can go ahead.
Click on video option, video icon.
It is
Please
not visible on my desktop.
Anjan sir.
Madam, on screen you can find, madam. Just click on the screen on the presentation. You can see over there. It will be on the top. You can click on the top. Take your cursor to the top, madam. There you will find.
Let it be, no problem.
It will be on top, madam. Menu will be on the top. Excuse me, madam. Your audio is muted.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, now it's okay, madam. Yeah, video is off. Yeah.
Okay.
Please, ma'am. Yeah, continue.
So basically, when we start writing the proposal, 1 minute, sir. I'll just say it once again. So basically, when we start writing the project, the following question arises in our mind: whom to write, when we can start writing, how to decide the topic. Excuse me, sir. Someone is requesting to note the said content frequently.
Decline, madam. You can decline.
SRL
You can
2006.
Decline, madam. Please decline it.
decline.
So, whom to write, and start writing, how to decide the topic, what to write, and what I wrote is feasible. So these are the things which frequently comes in our mind. So how to sort out this question and come with a good proposal? That my objective is to present the same in the this particular lecture. So based on what in our mind what it arises, I'll explain basically about the funding agencies, which already been maybe many topics I saw it was covered under the funding agency. So I'll slightly brief out about the funding agencies, and then I'll go to the proposal writing, where what will be the emphasis, how to write project summary, methodology, objective, expected outcome, literature surveys, and lastly, what and all you can do and what you must not do. So this is background of my talk. To write. It's basically the funding agencies where we write our proposals. So first we need to identify the funding agency. In order to make a competent decision on the best funding organization to submit your application, you need to learn about the potential funders. What is the expectation of funders? Means the funding agencies and how to approach them. So I have listed few funding agencies. Basically, I am a physicist, so I look into that way. And but these funding agencies are not limited only to science. It is related to engineering, management, and every field. These funding agencies provide grants to all the categories: science, engineering, and the management. So basically, University Grant Commission, UGC, and if you go to the funding agency, they introduce themselves, what they want, in which subject area you can write your proposal, and what are their objectives. So they introduce themselves in the website itself. For example, if you take University Grant Commission, UGC introduce itself as it strives to promote teaching and research. So it is the idea of UGC is to promote teaching as well as the research in the emerging field of humanities, social science, language, literature, pure science, engineering and technology, pharmacy, medical, agriculture, and science. So you see, almost all the fields, all the institutions are covered in the introduction itself. So, but restriction is there in UGC. You must be 2F under 2F or 12F. They provide grant only to those institutions which are covered under 2F and 12F. Basically, as I am in private institution, so we can't write the proposal to UGC. But in any case, if the institution is in under 2F and 12F, you can write the proposal. And they fund major as well as minor proposal. The fund will be in the good amount, above 10 lakh or above 5 lakh. And minor fund what they provide, it is nearly 2 lakhs. So people at the starting stage can write for the minor research project, and later people who are in the advanced stage of writing the proposal, they can write major research proposal. And they clearly mention their objective. As they introduce themselves, they have clearly mentioned their objective also, to promote excellence in research in higher education by supporting research programs of the universities. Few I'll read, I'll not read all. Just an example, I want to emphasize what they need. We have to understand. So, to promote excellence in research in higher education by supporting research programs of universities, colleges, teachers in various disciplines. So, basically, they give the grant to the regular faculties. In almost all the case, they provide the grant to the regular faculty itself. Traditionally, the second objective, it says, traditionally universities have been the center of research, although the government has a network of science and technology laboratories for research and development. The major base of the researcher in science and technology remain with the university. Therefore, university college teacher need to be supported to meet these requirements. So basically, I read line by line because I wanted to understand, means the person who is growing in the research, they must also grow, keep in the mind our later stage, what we can do it. So if these objectives are in our mind, will work as per the requirement of us as well and our funding agencies as well. So basically, they want to provide the grants to the people. Basically, they want to provide grants to the people with a good background. I don't say that you must be a very good, means very good researcher, you must be very good researcher. But you must not be a researcher with all sort of things, means you have developed each and everything and now I want to write a proposal. It's not. It's in the basic stage itself, they provide us the fund. I'll not go read the next topic. We have basically engineering institution is covered under AICT, technical education. And they have different schemes like ModRops, RPS, then industry interaction schemes, then other area of the research what they support. So basically, we must understand what are the funding agencies' objectives. First point is in terms of their objectives, in terms of their mission, in terms of the emphasis on the area of the research they support. We need to understand their objectives. Next is, when you understand the objective of a funding agency, you have to uh, uh, you have to match with their idea. you have to match with the idea what and all they want to fund. So if you understand and you match yourself with their objective, then I suggest to go with other, in the website itself, they give the details. What is your eligibility criteria? uh, Eligibility criteria, AICT, they give chance for the MTech people also to write the proposal. Whereas many of the funding agencies require PhD holders. Next is you have to check where they have a specific format or guidelines. And generally all the funding agencies will have their own specific format and guidelines. Then we have to see what amount fund, what means how much amount they fund. And there is a scheduled date of starting and deadlines of the proposal submission. So all these criteria you have to satisfy. Eligibility criteria, you need to check their format, you need to check the funding amount, you have to check the date of starting and deadline of the proposal submission. So it's really BM, if you can mute yourself. So whom to write is funding agencies. You have to check the criteria, and you have to think before writing. If an example, I give money to some people. Suppose you take yourself as an example and think that whether giving money to a particular person is worth or not. So we do in daily life think of that our investment, a small thing or the larger thing. So when as an individual we think of the investment, the same way the funding agencies also think that whether my investment to this particular person whom I giving a fund is proper or not. So what funding agencies expect from the investigator? It is not only about their reading the objective. It defines objective and introduction of a particular funding agencies. It defines what are their expectation and what are their objectives. So what funding agencies do expect from an investigator? Funding is, see, if you give money to some people, we see that it is worth for us or not. So the same way, the funding agencies, when they give money to people, they think about the impression they count to the fund allocated. Means if the money is given to a particular people, whether it is worth giving or not. Worth giving means proposal must convince that supporting your project in terms, there is no individual, we can't think of that individual has an expectation there. If you think about the evaluators there or the board of evaluators, they are not sitting there as an individual. They are the representative of a funding agencies where they have been given certain guidelines to fund the proposal. They never as a reviewer, as I believe, through my experience of receiving the proposal, as I don't know anyone in the board, or I have never tried to influence. If I don't know, I can't influence as well. So the evaluators are not an individual. They are representing a particular agencies, and agencies have given certain guidelines to evaluators, which is maybe it is decided in the board how to fund, whom to fund, and what are the expectations they have, whether that proposal satisfies or not. Based on there, they fund it. So proposal must convince that supporting your project must allow scientific community to gain information. The proposal must be informative and must add value to their chosen approach, which the proposal must match the objective of the particular funding agencies. And when you do research, when you paper, then that publication or that patent will attract the scientific community and bring even more participation to that particular area. So if you take one particular question, if you take one particular subject, the problems are unlimited. It is not like that one particular person only can do a specific research in that particular area. In with one particular topic, there are many problems which you can identify. And after identifying, you have to work out with the problems. So funding agencies they allocate fund so that it contributes to the scientific community, and they are being acknowledged with the successful research they support. So the emphasis of the funding agencies will be in total for the scientific community, even for as a social, it must benefit the society, it must benefit the scientific community, it must benefit the society. So based on these only, the fund, as per my experience, the funds are being allocated. Now, we got to know about what funding agencies' expectations are. Now, many people in mind, they have a question, when we can start writing. Many people ask, even PhD, paper writing, PhD proposal writing, thesis writing is all part of a research. So we think that when we can start writing, when we can start writing proposal for a funding agencies, when we can start writing a complete thesis, or when we can start writing a paper. Well, it depends on the individual. Many people say that you must start writing 1 year, means you must give 1 year time to write a proposal. See, when as I believe, we must start our thinking 1 year before, or we must start thinking at the level of PhD itself. Start thinking at the level of PhD. Many of us in PhD state, we think that it is just about the completion of PhD, writing thesis, and satisfying the criteria of doing PhD, means university states that you have to clear this much coursework paper, you have to come out with 2 papers which in Scopus journal, and you have to thesis, and it is submitted. As per my thinking, at the PhD itself, your research work starts. So our objective must not be short term. Our objective must be of long term. We must start thinking at that level itself, that it is not that this particular topic where I am working is just to do PhD. What I am working out must be my long-term goal. I learned these things when I was doing my PhD. I met several persons during my PhD. Birla Institute of Technology is a reputed institution. But when in 2002 I started my research work, I had a very limited facility for my work. So basically we worked in collaboration. So my guide or myself, I approached people for the measurement and characterization or the comment on the work what we were doing. So in turn, I worked with IIT Guwahati, Dr. S. Ravi, and students of Dr. Manoranjan Kar, now he is in IIT Patna, and Pramod Kumar, he is in IIT Madras. So working with them, and later with Dr. Alok Banerjee, UGC DIS, CSR Indoor Center. They used to ask me that what the problem, what you have defined must be a long-term goal. And what you are writing, a proposal as your PhD is a kind of proposal itself, because we define objective first itself. So I remember now as well, and I keep in mind those questions what people have asked me till date. And I remember Alok Banerjee asking me, I was working in lanthanum manganite with doping on MN side. He asked me, see, there are few papers I have already seen. So what is new in your work that I can support your characterization? So he gave me 2 days time. I was in Indore itself. He gave me 2 days time. He is a very good researcher publishing in PRL, PRB. You don't publish below that. So he gave me 2 days time and asked me, you come out with a proper objective, and if you are able to convince me, I'll support your characterization. I went on a survey, and with the same composition, I found a problem. There are few contradicting statements, and what I have set an objective that will be I'll be able to clear those contradictions. So then I was able to convince him, and we worked out. In his lab, I could come out with 2-3 publications when he helped me with the characterization. So our thinking must be for the long term. So when we start thinking from the beginning itself, then our mind, the problem, it will be clear. And when in mind the problem is clear, then I as an individual give a devoted 2 months time for writing the proposal. Because when the problem is in our mind, we can write continuously. As 1 year, if you decide the target, maybe 1 or 1 month we will become stagnant. But already, okay, I have written this much, so I can take rest, and then I can start writing proposal after certain time as well. Or we will become bit slow. So then what problem we have defined, that what it will happen, that it will start that problem comes out of mind as I think as an individual. So I give devoted 2 months time to finalize the proposal. So it depends on individual how they work out, when they start. And the starting, to some of the research scholars may be present there, or some of the people who are guiding their students must tell the student, this is your objective, but there are many problems behind that. You are working on this particular objective, which you have to further work out. So, and one more thing I want to tell. In PhD thesis, we define in the last conclusions chapter, we write it future course of work. So that future course of work must be properly identified by the guide and by the student as well, so that it gives a platform for the researcher to work out further. As I said, now when to start, I have explained. Now how to decide the topic. As I said, your work must be of long-term goal. So it depends on your experience, expertise, and extension of your PhD work. Some people think that the particular area which I am working now, the problem is limited. So I should start now with a new work. So when you start with a new work, then you are back again 4 years of your PhD. You have to again work out on those problems. And when you get an expertise, then only because funding agencies, they need expertise. Expertise in terms that you can lead that project. That proof must be there in terms of your publications. Publications are very important. Now, how we can do extension of our PhD work? When we go to conference and when we talk with the people with in our own research community, that helps us to decide what are the future problems. I remember 2008, I was my first BRLS proposal. I still thank Professor Dr. CNR Rao for his talk in DISSPS 2008. So I was working on manganites, basically oxide material. CNR Rao sir discussed about the multiferrite material. Means in the same material what you are working, you can find oxide material. You can work out with material and find particularly a basic material in magnetism. It will either magnetic behavior or it will show dielectric behavior, oxides and all like that. So he gave us, it was very recent in 2000 state that topic was emerging. Listen to his talk and I could identify that how can I extend my PhD work. So then I started writing my proposal and I submitted at that time to that time 2009 or 10, I submitted my proposal to VTU. It was first only started, research grant was started by VTU. I submitted as a fast track scientist in DHT and I submitted my proposal to DAE, but I was not confident that I'll get a proposal, that I will get the grant. So my family member, basically my husband, he support me a lot. So he told, you just write it. Later think whether you will get it or not. So some people think, okay, I will not get it. Kodala namge. So that becomes a first only if we are not confident, then it becomes a problem in that. So first we must be confident, and institute and family member must support, or someone who can support you, friends can support you to gain your confidence. You must submit the proposal, but with a confidence. And I basically suggest to researcher, extend your PhD work. There are a lot of problems in them. There may be a lot of problem which you are not able to identify. So how to identify the work? It is a continuous paper study. Continuous, you have to study the good papers or high impact papers. Because if you study from means the work what is already going, if you if you go to APS, AIP and all, You can set a alert. You can set alert to those publishers. We have option to, when we go, we can set an alert. So they'll send you the volumes with abstract and topic of the research, what it is recent going on. It doesn't mean that you have to not, you must not do literature survey the old published paper. When you will be update what it is that it is going in our field, what work, what recent, what new they have added. So that will help you in identifying the problems. So basically, extension and a thorough study of the work which is going on in your field. That is very important. And read 10 papers daily. Like we read newspaper, that way we not like a newspaper. We have to write the important point. We daily study 1 hour. We go throughout the news, what is happening around our world. We must go to our research community as well, which you will be able to know through the publication. Daily, you must read 10 papers. So these are basically the grants which were awarded to me. Now what to write? I come to the topic, what to write. So the same thing what I was telling. Here one person say, my team has created a very innovative solution, but we are still looking for a problem to go with it. So as I said, object, what topic you are, in which you are doing research, there will be multiple problems. And if they are not a problems, you have to look on the problems. You have to create the problems. And for that, a thorough literature survey, it is necessary. So your team, what you are, as a team, what you have created a solution, it is not the final solution. There may be certain problem which you have to identify it. What is writing? It's a quote from some, I follow this quote. Writing is not just a way, I don't know who wrote somewhere when I was searching for some good quote, I got this. Name was not written. Writing is not just a way to communicate completed finding and polished arguments. Writing instead actually a powerful form of thinking and learning, one that clarifies thinking and makes analysis and argument more precise. See, when you write a paper or when you write a proposal, I have polished with good words. I have written a good findings and polished it. It's not that way. Your biodata must speak. Your publication must speak about your thinking, how to analyze, how to arguments, how in that proposal itself, you have to present arguments more precisely. Because I give an example. Our Prime Minister says, mere 135 crore Indians, my all loving 135 crores of peoples. So in 135, if you come out, sort out to your level, there are large population, there are large number of people who are working in your field. So in this big population, how I must get identified, that you have to, I'm emphasizing, in large population of our research community who are working in the same field, you have to come out with a problem. You have to come out with a problem. And that is where that comes out with your continuous reading. That comes out with your continuous working. And that is what I want to. So research proposal, when you write a paper, writing a proposal is nearly equal to writing your paper to be published. Because how good you write, that good you will be able to write your proposal. So when you write the proposal, now I'm coming for the writing of, I'll start with the writing. Explanation of proposed research. What you are proposing, that question is what? What is going to be implemented? That what question you must ask yourself. What I am going to implement. Then second is methods and techniques to be employed. What you have decided. Now how to do you have to decide it. How it will be carried out. Third thing, expected outcome. It is very important. This expected outcome is the basis your writing summary, brief summary and expected outcome is the basis of your selection of your proposal. So expected outcome, it gives novelty and the importance of the study. Means why? 3 questions you must always ask yourself. What is to be done? How we can do it? And what I am doing is feasible or not? Why I am doing this? Why I am doing this? A problem identification. I got an answer for certain things. So when we got an answer, okay, this thing is there, we can go for the certain thing. This is a problem. No, you have to think, you have to question why this is a problem. Just like a simple example I give it, when we it is not for you people, means a small example. If you take Ohm's law, many people study Ohm's law that V is equal to IR. But when Ohm's discovered this law, he asked himself question, why this resistance could have been erased? Why this resistance is there in particular material? So he come into the depth of the problem. He has not realized what it is going on. He tried to question himself why it is happening so he discovered that there is a scattering, all sort of thing is happening that leads to a resistance, and which then he tried how it relates to the particular parameter, and he related. A why question is very important in research work. Now, title writing. When you writing your proposal, the title must be objective oriented. The title must be objective oriented. Must be very short. I'll objective. The thing, I'll just show you up one proposal what you have written in SERB. How the format is of writing the proposal. I'm not able to. Another page it is linked. I'll go and try to open it that. Project summary is the first thing that evaluators read and allows to quickly assess the basic idea of your proposal. What you write in your objective, it must be clear and concise. It should outline the problem. We see that you have to write the objective in 2-3 lines. So how can we accommodate? But you have to accommodate all these things. It should outline the problem, the objective and the expected outcome, the project activities, and the audience to whom it is addressed. And how to be clear with the proposal writing your project summary. Project summary, nothing but writing the abstract of a manuscript, of a paper. Now, there are money funding agencies which release the topic and abstract. You must read the abstract, how it is written. Now, abstract is not at all a methodology. Abstract is not writing about a methodology. Abstract is writing the defined problem and how it will be addressed. So many funding agencies release the abstract for which the grant is approved. So you can go through that object, how they write it. It's very important to understand how people write it. If you are in the initial stage of writing, and even if you are in the initial stage of writing, it is required, and later stage also, when because people are above us, people are ahead of us, we have to think many people are ahead, good enough. You have to identify the good researcher in your field, and you have to continuously read those papers. It's not required to identify the evaluators what they are doing. It is required, it is much important to identify that what people are doing, what people are working in your field. And if you are not able to read the complete paper, read good abstract, read the abstract. So you will be able to find out from the good paper. They write abstract basically an objective and how, why it is addressed. Why abstract is basically a way of writing why it happened. So that you have to identify it. So reading the abstract may help you in addressing the project summary. So this is the first things that what evaluators read to allow quickly assess the basic idea of your proposal. I think my slide it has got stuck. I'll do it again.
Okay, madam.
It is I think so.
Madam, click on that slide.
I am clicking, but it is not going further. Once again, I'll try stop share and I'll again attach it.
Okay.
Okay, madam.
It's taking time. It has got stuck, I think so. Can I just try to switch off my instrument and I'll log in again? Please excuse.
Madam, it will take more time. Can you solve with network?
No, network is proper, I think so. My voice was clear. My voice
Yeah,
is
voice
clear.
is clear, madam. Voice is
Ah,
clear.
okay. No, network, it is not a problem.
Yeah.
Can you refresh, madam?
Here it refresh, it is not chat participants. But just 1 minute. It is buffering here.
Okay.
Press F5, madam.
F5. It's not helping, sir.
Okay.
Still, when I have repair stop sharing, it is. I think I have to log in again, sir.
Not necessary. You press
Not
Control
necessary.
Alt to Del.
Huh.
One window will pop up.
Task manager.
Yeah, from there you can go to Task Manager and close this one PPT. Again, you can reopen it, madam.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That also is not opening. It's not. Sir, give me 2 minutes because it is already taking time. I'll just come back in a few minutes.
Okay, madam. Okay.
You can again share it, madam. You close it, the share. Again share
In
it.
stop sharing one I did, no sir, it is buffering. It is not coming out of the meeting.
Okay. As Professor said, Deepak sir said, you can just close it again, log in, and again you share the once again you can join it.
Yes, yes.
That will
Yes.
be better.
Thank you, sir.
From my
Thank
experience.
you. Yes, sir.
Vijaylakshmi madam is joined. Anjan sir.
Yes, sir. I saw madam. Madam started video also. Yes, madam. Now you are audible, madam.
Okay. Can I share my document?
Yes, sure, madam.
High temperature or low temperature.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So in the decentralized applications,
Lakshmi madam,
Here,
please share.
just
Please share the
I am.
PPT.
It's not said.
Anjan,
No, madam, it is not shared. It's not. It says that starting to share the content.
Okay. No, but here it you are say Microsoft PowerPoint. It
Yes, ma'am.
is. It's there, sir. I just again.
Again, you can try, madam.
dear participant, mute your mic, please. Stay tuned for a couple of minutes, please.
Sir, am I a host to share?
Yes, madam, you are supposed to share. Now PPT is visible, madam. You can go to slide number 15.
Right now, 15. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. So, number 15. Now, I'll go for objective. Now, objective of the funding agencies. So, you have defined your problem by continuous reading. Now, it's a time to start writing. The topic already I have explained, that must be short and the objective oriented. So, basically, objective of a proposal defines is something that the project is intended to accomplish through its work. So, when you write an objective, you know in which Dr. Anil Kumar SV. So, reflect the you have all before funding agency in while explaining about the funding agencies, I explained that they have a particular objective of grant of their own. And, all the funding agencies, most of the funding agencies receives proposal from all the areas. Now, first thing it is there, the objective, the specified area of the research must be defined in the mission and goal of the funding agencies. It must reflect that it is the objective of that funding agency is also objective of the investigator. What particular problem, what you have defined, that must reflect funding agency's objective. And the objective, basically there are two types of objective. If you say it when you write a proposal or when we define a problem, there will be a general kind of objective and there will be a specific kind of objective. So proposal, your work must define the general kind of objective as well and the specific objective as well. So objective of the investigator and the priority. What is your priority? Proposal accommodates the priority of the both. Now focus on important objective, specific objective. It must be clear to the evaluators about achieving them. So I'll just give an example. One of students, he was discussing, not my student, somewhere I went in conference, so she was discussing about her problem. So I asked, when she was working, when she asked me some question, I asked her in that how you defined your problem. That is the main question, how you defined the problem. So basically, as I work on material as a condensed matter physicist, I work on fundamental properties and a few applications wise on my material. So we look on to the different chemical compositions so that we can get a behavior which should be application oriented. So we substitute some chemicals and define it, the problem. Its substitute is also not so easy. You have to think about how to substitute it. So she told me, madam, lot of people have done the substitution of this particular material with low doping and no one worked with the high doping. So what I did, started with high doping. Then I said, when you do high doping, a particular property of that material is lost. So it is not like that problem defining is that what others have not done, I do it. You must understand that the particular problem, what you are doing is feasible or not. The main content of the problem must be lost. So that way you have to search out your objective. So it must be clear to the evaluators about achieving them. You will be able to, some people write in rigorous way, okay, I don't know, I am not a evaluator, but as I see different topics of what it is approved, then I understand what they will, what they expect. When I read abstract at a certain website where I can understand what they expect. I am not an evaluator, but as I have received few grants at a means I have not only 3 grants. It is very less. So we must work out for more. So it must be clear to the evaluators about achieving them. What you write, they will see that whether you have that kind of facilities or not. Now facilities, it is not like that each and every person has all the facilities, and then only we can start working. We can collaborate with people. And basically I was in the institution at the growing stage. 2007 institution opened, 2008 it joined, 2010 I wrote the proposal, 2011 I got grant from BRNS. So that was young scientist. I myself told I don't have such facilities, but if you give me the basic thing, like for starting of my work, then I will collaborate with the people and I'll do it. So basically then I was able to convince during the presentation as well. And what I presented, I remember that was extension of my PhD work as well. So my what I wrote, what I got idea from listening from the conference from Dr. Rao and my PhD, it was matching. I was able to convince there during my talk, and as well as it reflects the priorities of BRNS as well. So I was able to convince them. Started my work with a small equipment in my institute, which is was very important for sample synthesis. So I was given grant about 4 to 5 lakhs for equipment. 4 to 5 lakh it was for student, and some for inside 1 lakh or 2 lakh itself I asked for travel, consumables, contingencies, and etc. Whatever it was there. So I basically concentrated on student and on my equipment, and I was able to convince there that I will come out with a good amount of good work, which will be beneficial for the scientific community, and it was granted. So it must be clear to the evaluators about achieving them. I came out with good, I as an individual, I will not tell. We came out with a good number of papers, and it was nearly around 8 papers, in which 6 papers was at that time a high impact of 2 impact factor, above 2 impact factor. So I'll come out with that, how to work out in other slides. And your objective must include indicators as well. Indicators based on what you say that progress can be measured. Do not promise the non-realistic, non-viable things, which shows the overestimation of your skills and capabilities. Your biodata will say you, say the evaluators about your, now is open. I have already said about the project summary and the objective. So what it was funded to me by SERB. So that it is a project and objective is reflected here. So basically, as I work now on magnetoelectric material, with extension of, even now it is extension of my own PhD work. I can go back to my topic from this particular topic itself. It is related, everywhere related. The first PhD is related, BRNS grant is related, UGC is related, DST is related. So it is progress of my work, my own PhD work, but I am able to identify the problems within that. I have not at all changed my area of research. So basically, I defined in project the few first line, what you read, it is the definition of the problem. Then 2-3 lines, it is mentioned what the study, what it is, I will do the study, what is the importance of that. And then it is last 4 lines, last line, if you see, the investigation of electric field controlled strain in contrast to many prior study will enable us to create detailed understanding of the magnetoelectric effect in complex electric ferromagnetic heterostructures. So it says that there is a problem which we have to address it. Although there is a work, no, obviously there is no, there is a less amount of work in this field. It's a rigorous amount of work is done in this field, but still problem is there, and which we were able to identify and proposed for the funding agency. Now, if you come to the objective is specific also in general as well, and its objective is in terms of specific. You will be able to, evaluators will be able to identify that the 3 years what my progress is, whether it is working or not. So it is, we have to study correlation, we have to grow the material. I have proposed each and individual stage what we will do it. And lastly, whatever we have mentioned, we will be able to. But in this pandemic, it is becoming very difficult because all sort of things are closed. So my November is last, but hopefully we have already covered some of the objectives. One objective, the last one, which is electric field controlled, it is left out. We will be able to do it. So you must not promise the non-realistic and non-viable, which is not at all related to your skills and capabilities. That is, if you write it, that will give you negative approach. You will think that I was able to give this good problem, but that too it is not considered. It will be considered. If your problem is good, it will be considered. And I talk generally in positive way. So if your problem is good, it will be considered, and that must reflect in your resume that you have those ideas and capabilities. If you see, partially we can share your idea with co-PI. I don't have co-PI, but if suppose you have expertise in one field, other has expertise in the other field, and both are in relation with each other, two can show their 2% can show their skills. One can show skills in some particular area which is related to the, and you can join and work together in a positive manner. So next is after project summary objective, you have to write keywords. Is just a manuscript writing with well defined. There we don't in a project proposal we don't mention answer. We don't have, we have a problem which we address it, that this is the approach what we will take it. But in manuscript answer as well, and scientifically, why I always say, ask why we are getting this result. Why is very important in research. That's what I have been asked every time from my seniors, my guide, or wherever I had been for my research work. So again, keyword will also must relate your topic and what is about the proposal. This is a theme word. This is the theme word of your proposal. So these are all evaluators will be able to identify that your flow of your proposal matches with your skill and your expertise, your commitment. Your commitment also comes out through the paper. The paper says your commitment towards the research. Now, coming to the literature review and identification of the problem. So you have to do work for proposal. Groundwork means literature survey. And I said, as in my point of view, we have to identify problem in our research area itself. So those who have completed PhD, they have already done 4 years their literature survey for the research work. So the groundwork starts from there itself. Even guide must concentrate that they must continuously write the literature survey, not only the paper writing, not only working on the objective, but thorough literature survey must be there. Recent what it is going on, if I am left out with what were already been carried out, that will help you. That is what literature survey is about. What is recently going on, what is already been done, and then you have to identify the problem. So this is a place to showcase. That's what I am saying. You have to read paper of 50s as well, what people did. Read paper of 2020 itself, what people are doing. So that will, if something comes out to be contradicting, you can identify. If something it is flow, you can identify even a new problem in that. That comes out with literature. I suggest every day read 10 papers. Every day read 10 papers of your area. It is not about suppose some people what they do literature survey of this particular area and the other area also. So if I don't get in this, I will get in other area. It's not at all. Getting a new expertise with new, it will take lot of time. So what you have expertise, you have to problem within that itself. So the groundwork of your proposal with the material that are present with you, what is interesting and cutting edge in the field that led to your research idea. That comes out with the literature survey, and you have to propose in literature survey also. When you are writing a proposal, you have to present those papers which are interesting and which will help the technology to improve, and you are able to find out the problem within that itself. Now, the basic of your research topic, narrow your focus. That's one. First, you must study in general, then narrow your focus to the particular problem what you have identified. Read the problems. Taking that problem, go through the papers of what a prominent, a good researcher, a dedicated researcher is carrying out in your field. Narrow the focus details that are especially pertinent to the proposed work. Now, already I have said, present is currently known by how these progress were made. If someone is mechanic, someone is working in suppose steam engine, already they have worked out, they have studied lot during that. Even I say, if I have to find out the answer of new problems, I have to go back and study what starting when it started, what they did. That is very important to find it out what they did, how it has been progressed. Maybe you will get the problems within the progress itself. May no, you'll get the problem in the progress, what it is being going in that particular area. Cite the work which relates to your objective, relates to your project summary. Cite some of your own work. That will, in the literature survey, if you say your work as well, that will reflect that you are already working and you have identified the problem within your work. So that will speak to advertise. Now, mention, you must not hide. Some people, when they write, they try to say that, okay, this is a new problem, which is already being worked out. Maybe a proper literature survey is lacking or something it is else. But evaluators will be able to identify. When you send your manuscript for publication, reviewer as well, they will be able to identify that particular topic is new or not. Now the internet, the source of information is very vast. One line you write it, that is what you call it as plagiarism. One line you write it, of the others people will be able to identify. The source of information is enlarged today. So you cannot say this is new. So mention source of information, cite thoroughly, cite properly. It is very important. So mention, repeating it, mention source of information, cite thoroughly and cite properly. So that will helps reviewer in finding what is going on. Have you identified that? Are you working in that area? Is reflecting in the literature survey, and what problem you have identified. It must relate to your funding agency. It must relate to your objective. It must relate to your project summary, what you have written. So each and everything, it must be lined up. One must be in flow of the other. One topic must be in flow of the other. Now again, about literature survey itself. Literature survey to identify the problem. So literature survey is not that 2 months we'll start writing, so 2 months. Literature survey starts from the beginning of the day first of our research. Because when you meet guide, then they say, this is the problem. Either guide defines the problem or the student defines the problem. In my case, I define the problem. In my for my student, I only define the problem, and then I asked them to do thorough literature survey. Even my case also, my guide decided where I have to work out. So that is an experience of their experience, what they want to extend their work and ask their student to do it. That is extension of work. So topic was decided by my guide. For me, I decide topic for my students. So that way, the flow it goes on. The literature survey it goes on to the other end. So information gathered from the source. One thing is very important. Just like I tell you, one line you write, copy from others, it will be identified. So avoid quoting straight away from the article. Some people I have come across through my student itself, they write the same line but they cite from where they have taken. That is not the way. What they have written, you cannot quote it. You have to write it in your own words and even cite those people. You have to write in your own words and cite the people who said that. So avoid quoting straight away from the article. Avoid putting the idea back into a slightly modified sentence. You take a paraphrasing tool, you took a grammatical and rephrase those lines. It is not. You have to read the article, set aside, allow yourself to access the information. What you have gathered the information, you have to read it, write in your notebook. Sometime what we also do, we straight away copy and paste so that we will remember that what they have written. No, I still prefer writing in a notebook what you are doing. Notebook practice is our culture. Copy paste. Indian system started with the writing of ink only, and still we have to use that. So take a notebook whenever you read a article. Take a notebook, write that author name, write the topic, and write the important lines. What you feel it is. That is very important. That is that is important. You write what you feel is a problem there, what you feel is not addressed there, or what you feel it is properly addressed in this paper. So read the article, set aside, allow yourself information, and put the important points in your own words. The technical writing, again the technical English language and all, the technical writing must be very clear and to the point. Be thorough, not excessive. Why I have said this line? Be thorough, but not excessive. What happens? Sometimes we go through some literature and we find that this one is a problem, this is also a problem, there is one more problem. So we try to address all the problems in a proposal. That cannot be done by an individual. Taking problem, plenty of problem, it cannot be set by an individual. So you have to be thorough with your problem and you must not be excessive. Don't put multiple problems in a single proposal. Because you were able to find the multiple problems, you can write different proposals to the different agencies with taking those problems. But the multiple problem must not be within one single proposal. Be thorough, not excessive. Coming to methodology. This is just a format of writing a proposal. If I say UGC or DST or other agencies, RNS, they have a particular format, and I have taken the keywords of those formats. I am explaining that itself. Now it is turn to write the methodology. After literature survey, it is your turn to write the methodology. So methodology, you write it. Describe your proposed experiment in brief. I am basically an experimentalist. If you are a theory person also, first you have to propose your theory or experiment in brief. Then what are the process that you are going to use? What are the process you are going to use? What kind of equipment and supplies will be necessary to achieve the objective? So must be in the methodology as well. When you ask for your instrument, if you ask for certain things that comes as a non-contingent item, the availability of such instrument at your workplace with collaborators, user or central facility, your required equipment, cost of the budget that will go in the budget part itself. So it is not like that the facility must be at your center itself. Must be KM10. Rupa KM10. Please mute your audio. The ability of such instrument at your working place with collaborators and user central facility. So this can be written just like when I had a furnace, I required an additional furnace, and I required when we grow at a certain stage, then we ask for some equipment as well. So I stated in the problem. I'll show you. Literature survey. And in literature survey, it is very important to mention the international status and national status of the work being carried out and which groups are working in that. So this speaks, I have mentioned which groups are working in this field. So you have to mention the international and the national status. The methodology, here comes the methodology. Basically, I have written this project. It is extension of work. I have in BRNS project, we were able to synthesize a material with a multiferric behavior in a single phase material. It is published in Material Science. It is lanthanum bismuth manganite doped with titanium. So we were able to publish 4 to 3 papers of that particular composition itself, working out with different characterization and different theories. So as that particular material itself I took, and but the thing, what was the problem in this material? The behavior what we were able to achieve, it is significant, but still we can improve when we take composite or when we take heterostructure, thin film heterostructure. So I mentioned it is a general, it is related. The target, what I have mentioned there, I have as well in methodology. In objective, what I have mentioned the target word, I have mentioned here as well. The target will be prepared. For that, what equipment it will be required. So I have mentioned that these things will be required, and particularly I asked for one more tubular furnace with the gas inlet facility. And then I came to see second methodology. When we synthesize a sample, we have to characterize that. So I said these equipment will be required, but we don't have. You have to clearly say that you don't have. So when you don't have, where you will do it. So I have written some central facility and some other user facility in sorry, UGC, what it is there, I will use it. Again, I don't have these facilities, so I mentioned where it is not like that we are a institution in the growing state. So we can't demand the management for crores of rupees to fund to set up a facility and we can work out. It can't be done. We cannot imagine of that. crores of rupees will be granted by the institution. Then we develop a facility and then we start writing a proposal. You must look out for the facilities. You must look out for the collaborators, and you have to convince them that with that also comes with your must reflect your biodata. Biodata in terms of making publication, it must be very strong. Then only you will be able to collaborate with the competent people of your field. Otherwise, it is very difficult. And then I said that I require one more facility and certain instrument I have asked for, and the total grant Maya BS, please mute audio, Maya BS. So what it was there, what it is, the total grant came out to be nearly 13 lakhs for the instrument itself. So I said the facility, if it is given, I'll set up that facility. And setup of facility is also not that I particularly found a great difficulty. Sometime heater will get burned, sometime this thing will get burned, sometime programming there will be a problem, and each and every expertise I don't have. Some expertise student have, some expertise my collaborator have. So I talk to them. I never hesitate in talking with the people. Even they say no, they'll say no. But if they say yes, it will work out for me. So you must not think you will say no and I must not approach. You must say, you must think, okay, if it is yes, because I don't, many people are there who are in the institution where they have TQ grant and all. But I am in the institution which is like grown and growing stage, and it will grow with the work of the faculty member and with the help of management. Will grow with the students, how they work. That culture must be there. So the institution grows by our work itself. That is very important. So this is a time schedule which I have mentioned, that we will do this literature survey is a continuous process. See, I have written here as well. Initially 1 to 3 months and 36 months continuous. Literature survey must never, it never stops. It is continuous process. Then the target preparation, it is a timeline what I have mentioned in the project. I'll come to the slide. I think I'm running out with the time. Okay, expected outcome itself. I have, okay. Coming to the budget part, I have proposal, right? Okay. So now, okay. So I think I have crossed many slides. For annotation, it takes time for me to, I want to go to previous slides. Sorry, it is taking time. Okay, so I think I have already said about the methodology, how you will state your methodology. Outcome. So it is a flow of your all writing. Topic, object, project summary, literature review, and the expected outcome will tell you the importance of your work, what you are presenting to the funding agencies. So your literature sir will be help in understanding the importance of the topic to the evaluators. That is where you will explicitly state how proposed research will have significant values, what are in depth or comprehensive far-reaching effects, will your study potentially achieve or accomplish something new, or if it is not new, you are able to solve some problem which is still in question, that is also there. So why your propose that it is very important expected outcome, why your proposed research deserve funding. So if you are able to convince, if you are able to propose all such things, you will be, I am very positive that it will be granted. So budget means justification. Budget, what you will ask. Some people don't ask for manpower, but basically some institutions prefer manpower, because if they fund one person in that project grows, we can work out with the PhD. It is a worth in UGC, DA, CSR. If you go to write a proposal, they don't accept the proposal if you don't propose the manpower. So manpower, equipment, consumable, contingency, travel, overhead. These are the main components what you will find in the format of the proposal. Some equipment covers your computers, laptop, your measuring instruments, or software. Software comes under contingencies as per my proposal, but some people who are working in theory, they write the software in terms of equipment item itself. Consumables will be glasswares, chemicals, paper, etc. Whatever required. Consume means cannot be reused. That kind of items will come under consumers. Contingencies, those items where you can purchase software, book, articles, you can pay the conference fees, you can pay the central facility, travel to attend conference and facilities, and overhead is institutional. Now, positive about my institution is what? Even the overhead fund, I am able to utilize it for our own research work. So this is positive about our management, our institution, that these overheads, they are not utilizing for their own purpose. Each 1 rupee, 1 rupee, no, 1 paisa of our research is 1 paisa of fund is going to our research itself. Now, last, what I am writing, is it feasible? Who will check it before submitting to the evaluators? Who will tell me whether this project proposal what I wrote is, whether it will be accepted or not? So if you are confident enough, you can submit it. Some seniors, if you are in senior stage, you can submit it. But if you are in the initial stage, as what I did, ask your senior of the same field to read and comment. Present your proposal or in your research committee of your institution itself. And when they comment it there itself, it is a very positive point. Accept the comments positively. Don't say that, hey, madak agala, I can't do it. Simply they are telling to go study again the literature, because experts are experts. When the experts say something, we have to find the solution of that. So accept those comments and improve appropriately. Do's and don'ts. Conclusion, the proposal, again I am repeating, proposal must be of your expertise. Now, how expertise will be evaluated? It is based on your resume, based on your in biodata. It is very important. You must mention what tools you can handle, what expertise you have, and the publication. And revise your project proposal 10 times, more than 10 times, so that anything is not missed out. We learn childhood also, our teacher used to say, when you write your final exam or when you write exam, just leave some time for revision also. So we were able to find out our mistakes during the revision. So revision is very important. Key with the project proposal must not be short term, it must be long term. Keep your goal of receiving grants for long term. Don't start writing a funding proposal unless you have done the thinking, thorough study, exam, explore the necessary research to be carried out, what you will present as an objective. Do not take complex problem which may look innovative but cannot be solved in the given duration. Because if the project of, suppose if it is complex, you are able to, but you are not able to do it, then it will reflect in your next grant, next proposal. That it is simply exaggerated that I will do this and I'll do this, and but it is not done. Now, if you don't receive the proposal, suppose after all these things, proposal got rejected. I have many rejection. 3 got, I would have written 10, then I have got 3. I have written VGST, I think 3-4 times, but I have not received a single proposal. I have written to DST thrice, then the 3rd proposal was accepted. So and they don't, I have not received any comment also that what was what was lacking in that proposal. So I could not rectify, but I went to again literature survey, and I could find what you could find what you are going, where you are going wrong, so that you are not able to convince the evaluators. One thing, if you don't get a project, don't start writing in another field. Don't change your field. Again, you have to start, because again you have to start fresh. What you have to do, if you are not able to get the grants, maybe some expertise is lacking or writing is lacking. So improve your expertise by publishing your work in peer-reviewed journals of good impact. Now, when we submit paper, sometime we think that good journal, it will not be accepted because it's not worth. But what I do, I not worth. When we do research, we feel like it is worth. So when it is worth, submit to a good journal. Even if it is rejected, you will get the comments. So with those comments, you will be able to come out with a good thinking that what it is lacking in me, what it is lacking in my research. So always send your paper to a good good journal where they identify a good reviewer. If it is accepted, it is good enough. If it is not accepted, you will get comment. So that comment will try to point out your weak area, which you have to improve it. Even in the case of rejection, comment help you in improving your work. Now, many I have seen that I beginning also I told that just don't satisfy during your PhD or for your PhD. Don't try to satisfy just the criteria of the university, that 2 publication, 1 in conference, 1 is journal. Anyhow, I'll pay it, it will be accepted. So just I'll increase the number. No, few paid publication may increase your number, but will not help you in improving your expertise. So whenever the people around me walk with me, I say, no, paid publication, some journals are open access, some good reputed journals are open access. If you are good enough to pay it, you can pay it, but don't increase your numbers with few paid publication. That will increase just your number, but when evaluators see, they know that what expertise will you give in the proposed project. So paid publication never helps in improving your expertise. It just increase your number. And always be positive and optimistic. And second, one thing I always say to myself, when received grant, out of 10, if you receive 1 also, it is good enough. You have to put efforts. There are plenty of people writing the proposal, and we say that IITs and IITs only get the proposal, but I say I am in the growing institution, which is now it is in a good stage. So I also received proposal in 2011 itself, where we do not had facilities. So you cannot say that IITs, NITs are only getting project. They have expertise. Based on their expertise, read their paper, see their resume, and okay, sometime it can happen that even resume your proposal is not got accepted. So maybe out of 10 proposal, 5 were given grant, and they had means target to give for 5 proposal. Your proposal may be good enough, but you are not able to line up with those expertise. So think in this way. If you think in this way, it will help you to improve your work. If you say that NITs, IITs get the project and we don't get, then you have to judge. You can judge. They advertise for JRF, they advertise for SRF when they get the grants. So you search out where all these vacancies came out. See the name of in your particular field. See the name of that particular person, go to his resume, go to his publication, and try to identify whether the evaluators are biased, or whether evaluators, some 1% biasing, we don't say it is biased. So you have to improve your expertise. You have to publish in a good journal. You have to search out of a good topic. So when you receive grant, get excited with the acceptance, but don't be overconfident. Put the best effort, complete the objective in time. Submit yearly progress report, and that must reflect that you are competent enough to do the projects and presentations. Publish your work in peer-reviewed journal of high impact. If you have if you have good amount of fund, you can go for patent itself, and acknowledge the agency where you are working. So with a small note, institution must support and encourage and promote young researchers. Thank you, and I am open for question.
Madam, thank you for the informative session, madam. It was a very elaborate and systematic session.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, there are hardly 3 to 4 questions that I would like to pick up, which are very general in nature.
Yes,
there's a question which says that, madam, recent publications in relevant field, are they compulsory for getting projects?
That is important point of literature survey, sir.
Okay.
That is very important, because you must be in your field what it is going on. You must know.
They should have the relevant information with reference to what is happening.
Relevant information, what it is done, what it is going on, and some proposals, some papers, when you read it, even address what next they will do. So it's very important.
There is one more question. Is there a necessity to form a committee when we are supposed to submit a project?
Form a committee, sir. Every institution will have their research committee. So you can present in our case, our president itself is Dean Research. So when we write a proposal, we go to him and ask to read it. So he is very kind enough to read all the things and comment on that. Even if he is not in my field, some technical mistakes, or if you can discuss with your own group. Yes, if you have a group, you can discuss and find out what is lacking in your writing.
One of the points you also mentioned, that you submit in your committee itself, submit in the college committee itself, and they will give you a lot of information, is what you mentioned.
Sir, if they are not in your field, but at least the technical part, if it is lacking, they will, people in research field, they will tell you. Because if you of VTU, then I am not expertise of each and every problem. But with your experience, you will be able to find technically where it is lacking, where you are lacking.
Yes,
1 minute.
There is a request.
You will be, if you give a good proposal, I believe it will be see, sir, there is certain funding restrictions also.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
So there are certain restrictions of it flows, but number of people who are writing the proposal also is flowing. It is good number. So you have to address what is you are going to give to that funding agency.
Yes, madam.
That's why in beginning only I said we invest in something, we think of that. So the same thing the funding agencies also does.
Yes. Madam, there is a request. Can you share one proposal format? So if you are able to,
sir, one thing, if you tell me, I can browse and test to participants where you can get everything. Everything when you tell about the project format, it is available in that website. And I have, if they want, I will share it. My email ID is hodphysics@mitmysuru.in. So if they write to me, I will definitely, I'll share with them.
okay, thank you. Very nice of you, madam.
Thank you. Any other question?
Most of the also funding agencies list, they are asking for the funding agencies list also.
That with what I have presented with their objectives and introduction.
Yes, madam. Probably.
Okay.
So if you're able to share it to the
Otherwise, if you, I have Chelvaraju mail ID. So if he write, I will share everything with him. We can share with all. Or if people write me individually, I'll share with them. That is not a problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam.
Sir, here one question is there. Please list one or two UGC journal.
Yeah.
This I
a very general question. Yeah, right.
Beginning itself, no, we must answer this question as well. General question, if we answer, they will be more because they are in the growing stage.
Yes,
in the
yes,
growing,
madam, yes.
We must clear the doubts of the people who are in the growing stage.
Yes,
so I say that if you Google search, go to Google. Nowadays, the internet facility is vast. You can go to UGC website. There is a list of the journal which is approved by UGC. You will not get one or two, you will get plenty of numbers there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
A good research proposal is at points of time an extension of your PhD work. Research starts once you complete your PhD. Most of us stop research once PhD is awarded. Probably most of us do that, madam.
Yes.
Right. Persistent literature survey, objectives.
So one thing I suggest, one thing it is there. As a lady faculty team, I am telling, if some people are good, competent enough to do research, but some reason they have left out their research in between, then DST has women's grant related to that particular objective itself, those who have break in that career. So that can start fresh, and the good amount of fund is been given under that proposal. It is women's A, B, C. 3 categories are there.
Okay. Persistent literature survey, objectives, problems, avoid multiple problems, methodology, narrow the focus, collaborate or interdisciplinary, plagiarism, build the area of expertise, citation of your own work, do's and don'ts. These are some of the important and interesting topics that I came across in your presentation, madam. On behalf of the management, the principal and staff of Bangalore Institute of Technology, I would appreciate your efforts for sharing your expertise in designing a research proposal. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all the participants also.
Madam, this is
Madam.
Yes.
Sir, it's wonderful session organized by. Thank you, sir.
on behalf of organizing committee, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hope I am able to give a good means presented a good idea to the listeners.
Yes, madam. It was a very systematic presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for your expertise.